G'day, welcome to the weeks 13 to 16 update, total anatomical shoulder replacement, and this is Safety Bay Beach here in Perth, southern suburbs. So I thought it was as good a place to do my update, bit of scenery and a nice place for a walk. So over the last 3 weeks, the rehab has grown in intensity, particularly in some of the pushing movements and some of the lifting movements. I've been working with a physiotherapist over the last couple of weeks, so he's been guiding me through some of the activities I'll show you shortly. In terms of how the shoulder's feeling, it's getting there. It's getting better slowly. So in terms of strength and range of motion, it's got excellent strength and range of motion now. It's still uncomfortable a lot of the time. There's still a bit of what I'd say friction and clicking and rubbing as tissues rub over each other that haven't settled down yet. But it's very functional now. The range of motion is about probably 70% to 80% of the other shoulder. So I can say I've got that range of motion here. The operative arms, about 70% or so. There's been some motions and actions that are a lot harder. So I've read a lot of people's accounts where they say it's quite difficult. Pushing movements are very difficult, and that's been my experience exactly. So I've progressed to bench push-ups over the last 3 weeks, where you're going from wall push-ups to up to a 45 to 50 degree angle, and that was very difficult on the left shoulder. It felt very weak and unstable, and it's slowly getting there. But the scapula in particular, and the physio says this as well, the scapular movement has to retrain. When you've had arthritis for a long time, your range of motion's obviously reduced, and your scapula actually ends up adapting to cover some of the movements that your glenohumeral joint isn't capable of anymore. So once you've got an operable glenohumeral joint that works and has good range of motion, your scapula basically has to retrain. So that's been a lot of what I've been doing over the last three weeks as well. The pulling actions are pretty good. So things like bicep curls and tricep kickbacks, they're pretty close to what I was before. So I'm at 4 months now, and the strength I've got is not too much less in terms of biceps and triceps than I had before the operation. So that's been a real positive. Improvement's something I want to talk about. So improvement in pain, improvement in range of motion, improvement in strength. So the range of motion plateaued for a while, and then over about a week it just exploded, and I went from about that sort of range of motion to this over 2 weeks. So that was, and it just happened very quickly over about 5 days after being plateaued for a long time, and now it's plateaued again. So that's how it's working out for me. Strength very quickly returning. So I would almost be underneath the shoulder. So any strength underneath the shoulder, I'm pretty much as strong as I was before. Obviously I'm limited above the shoulder, so that's tricky, and I'm still learning anything above the shoulder. Lifting up like that is challenging, but I'm getting there slowly, and the physio is helping me with those activities. In terms of pain and discomfort, that's an interesting one. So it's getting better slowly, and by slowly I mean, if I think back to yesterday, I don't really, or the day before, or the day before that, I don't really notice any improvement in pain. But if I think back to 2 or 3 weeks ago, then I can remember actually, geez, it was quite a lot more sore and painful then than it is now. So I think you're sort of looking at sort of 2 to 3 week blocks for improvement rather than day to day, and that's part of the frustration of the recovery, but that's what it's about, unfortunately. Pain relief, I'm now off the anti-inflammatories. I was previously on celecoxib, I think it's called, which is a high-powered anti-inflammatory. I'm now off that, so I've weaned off it. I am still using paracetamol, and I use the same paracetamol that I used before the operation. It's called osteo paracetamol, and it's 665 milligrams, so quite high strength paracetamol, but it's safe to take. GPs confirm that, so I take that in the morning and in the evening, and I'm sleeping really well. The first thing in the morning is usually the toughest period of the day, and then as the day goes on, it gets a bit better. Still running, a few kilometres every second day. I'm swimming for half an hour, breaststroke, a few kilometres a day. Driving pretty well. Function, all the domestic function is back now. I need to get home, and so my time in Perth's coming to an end in the next month or so. Probably in the next 4 weeks, I'll be going home to my home in the tropics, which is about 3,000 kilometres north of here, right on the border of the Northern Territory at a place called Kununurra. So I'm looking forward to being able to drive home to do that. And part of my final test, I've obviously got some appointments, one more with a surgeon, a couple more physio appointments, and a couple more GP appointments. But the final test to determine whether I'm right to go home or not will be whether I can lift a 4-wheel drive tyre off the back of my 4-wheel drive, and they weigh about 50 kilograms, because if I need to change a tyre on the way up there, it's remote Australian travel, so I'm not sure those of you from around the world might not understand that once you leave Perth, it's pretty remote, and there's no sort of roadside assistance that you can phone. You know, you're on your own, so you have to be able to do things like change a car tyre. So the 4-wheel drive tyres are pretty heavy. They're about 50 kilograms, so I need to make sure that before I leave, I'm capable to deadlift a 50 kilogram weight in front of me a few times. So that's how I'll know I'll be right to go back. Enjoying all the activity in the rehab and the training. I'm enjoying being active. A lot of the atrophy that I'd had previously from being laid up has gone now. I look and feel very close to how I did before the operation, and it's 4 months. So I'm now starting to feel pretty good about my decision to go through with this operation, and hopefully then don't need to do the right one for a long time. Okay, gonna leave it there. The next video may well be up in the tropics of northwest Australia in Kununurra, because I probably will have gone home by then, so you'll see some different scenery up there in the tropics. But all the best. Reach out if you have any questions, and I've been looking at a few comments on the blogs, and I know that there's a lot of you about to go through the same thing or going through the same thing, so let's help each other out if we can share experiences, because there wasn't much on the internet, so if we can share our experiences and help each other out, let's do that. All the best. Look forward to seeing you soon.